I'm Ev the Alien. Welcome back. This is week 6 of my $2 beginner poker challenge. I'm turning $2 into $2,000 playing poker online without depositing any money. Here you're looking at a graph from last week. The profit was roughly $23, making the bankroll roughly $119, which is 6% of our way to the $2,000 goal. The win rate last week was 19.8 big blinds per 100 hands. The goal for this week was to move up to 2 cent, 4 cent, and I did move up, so stay tuned and we'll see how this little fishy can swim at those stakes. Within the first 5 minutes of moving up to $4 tables, I lost 2 big hands. It was pretty discouraging. I open up queens here and I get 3-bet by this guy. I'll move it along here, folds around to this guy, and this guy calls. So 78 hands with this guy. He's a 6-5 player so far, looking pretty tight. So what's he 3-betting with? Typical 3-betting range might be like this. Let's loosen it up a bit. We'll throw jacks in there and evaluate. So if that's his range, he's ahead of me. Take jacks out and he's way ahead of me. But you know, there's already some money in there, and he's short stacked, so it's only $1.38 more. Maybe this is a fold here, but I think I just want to get in against this guy, and I'm expecting this guy to fold. But he's looking pretty loose, 59, so he might call if I raise. But if he does call, I'm probably ahead of his range. And I raise, and this guy puts the rest in, and that guy calls, and I call. Did I call? I should have just put the rest in. I don't know what I was thinking there. Anyway, flop comes out, and obviously you just got to get the rest in. I guess I didn't, but he put me all in, and he turns over jacks. So I was ahead of his range. Well, I was ahead of his hand. This guy, I was ahead of him. To be honest, I don't know if that was just a cooler or if I should have folded pre-flop. I think if this guy was deeper, I definitely would have folded. But since he was not so deep, he might be doing that with a wider range. He might be raising with a wider range there. And this guy's kind of fishy, so I think it's okay to get it in against him with queens. Alright, this guy min opens. Somehow I had a read on this guy that he was a really bad player in a calling station, even after only 11 hands. So I call. I want to play pots with this guy in position. And so that's a good flop for me. I get 2 pairs. He min bets. I'm thinking he's probably got an ace something, or maybe a flush draw, or some kind of weird straight draw. And so I just raise him thinking I can get value from his draws and his aces, and he calls. And now he checks to me. He's looking pretty weak, and I shove. And so you guys probably think that's a weird shove. Why am I shoving when he looks weak? I just had a feeling about this guy, my read, and I've seen guys like this before. Somebody slammed the door. If he's got ace something, and if he's got a draw, he's going to call. And, you know, he's not going to call with a draw on the river, so the turn's the last place I can get money. And he calls. So what does he have? He turns over kings. Here we get a limper, and I'll raise that. And we get 3 callers. So that's not a very good flop for me. It checks to me and I check it. That guy checks. This guy checks again and I bet out. And this is actually a value bet. I'm not bluffing. I think I have the best hand here. Anybody who's got a 10 would have bet by now. And it's not very likely that somebody has a 9 because there's 2 of them there already. And if they do, then fine, I'll lose this hand. So I'm just trying to get ace, like an ace to call here, and maybe some kind of straight draw. This guy calls and this guy folds. The river's a king, and I just check it. You know, I only have 8s. And this guy's aggression factor is pretty low. I just think he's not going to bluff at that king. And he checks 2, and he turns over ace-jack. So you might argue that that was not a good spot for value betting. But I think it was, and I don't know. I'm still trying to learn these things, but I think I played that hand well. Here we get a limper, and small blind completes, and I just check. That's a good flop for me. And I check because I don't think anybody hit that flop. And so this guy checks, and now I'm going to start trying to get value here. I'm not going to check it down to the river, even though it doesn't look like, get out of my face. It doesn't look like anybody could have anything here. But who knows, there could be a draw out there. And I bet out, and this guy calls. Alright, and here's the river, and I check. And so, why do I check? I notice it's a small sample size, but his aggression factor is infinite. So I'm just going to give him a chance to bluff here, and he does, and I call. And how come I don't raise? Well, because if he's bluffing, he's not going to call a raise anyway. So, and if he got a queen, you know, would he call a raise? Maybe, maybe not. I just think, yeah, just going to call here. And he turns over 7-6. So on the turn, he was calling with a gut shot, and then when he missed it on the river, he bluffed. If I had played that hand more aggressively, I don't think I could have got any more money. So I think by playing that passively, I got the most money I could have. This is one of those tables where you see it in the lobby and you just start drooling. The VPIP was really high and the average pot was almost $2. And this is the reason, these two guys, this is the reason the table was so juicy. This guy, over a sample size of 19, but you can tell already that his VPIP is 84. He's raising 63% of hands pre-flop, and his aggression factor post-flop is 17, which is really, really high. His C-bet is 100, 100, 100, all three streets. And this guy was really loose passive. The loose guy limps, the aggressive guy min opens, we get a caller, and we get a 3-better. So here I call the 3-bet. Yeah, sometimes that's a fold, but given this table and given all the people who might come along, like I'm expecting these two guys to call and come along. So there's huge implied odds if it's a 4-way flop. And the only thing I'm worried about is getting another raise in here because I might have to fold, but I'm willing to take that chance. And so these two guys do call, and we see 4-way flop and jackpot. I hit bottom set, and this is a great flop because there's an ace and a jack there. Somebody has an ace, at least one person has an ace. We're getting value from ace king, ace queen, and ace jack here. They're all going to put money in. There might even be somebody with a straight draw in here, although they should have folded pre-flop, but maybe king queen suited kind of thing. So I think this is a good flop. We can get a lot of value here. We get a check to the guy who 3-bet pre-flop, and he bets out half pot, and I call. And how come I don't raise? Because if it's heads up, just me and him, then I'd probably raise and try to get a stack in. But I don't want these guys to fold. I call, and then, whoops, wrong way. I call, and then the passive guy raises. So you know he's got something if he's raising this flop. This guy raises again, and I'm just going to call. I could probably raise and just everybody gets it in, but there's a small chance somebody might fold, and I'm not really worried about draws here. And alright, we see the turn. That should help nobody, and we get it in. And this guy turns over ace king for top pair, top kicker. He's probably pretty bummed out when he sees I got pocket eights. And this guy turns over ace jack for 2 pair. So biggest hand of the week. Here are the results for the week. As you can see, I ran bad, or I was playing bad at the start. This was $2 tables, and then I recovered a bit. Around here is where I moved up to $4 tables, and it dropped right away and managed to recover. Looking at big blinds per 100, that's my win rate. It was only about 8.8 big blinds, which is really, really low. And this is the reason. Well, at the $4 tables, I was doing pretty good, 29. After all-in adjustments, that's 24 big blinds. But I was just running really bad and playing bad at the $2 tables at the beginning of the week. Negative 20 big blinds per 100 hands. After adjusting for all-in, it was a bit higher. Last week's profit was $26.53. The bankroll total at the end of the week was $147. That's 7.4% of our way to the $2,000 goal. The win rate was 8.8 big blinds per 100 hands. The goal for next week, well, I don't really have much of a goal because I don't think I'm going to be playing much poker. I'm busy with other things. But it's just to maintain a 20 big blind per 100 hand win rate. If you want to join me in this challenge, check out evthealien.com for more information. I'm Ev the Alien. See you in the next video.